Hi guys, and welcome back to our YouTube channel, and I'm here with the wiggle worm himself, Copper. So if you watched our video about Skye, you'll know a few facts about Skye already, and today it's this little guy's turn, Mr. Copper. So I thought I would do a proper introduction to Copper, so anyone who's followed the account for a while, or if you've just arrived in our account from Instagram or TikTok, you'll get the chance to know a little bit more about Copper, because this boy has a big personality. So if you watched our first video, you'll know that Copper is our second Alaskan Klee Kai after his sister who sat behind him here, Skye. We got Copper in March 2018. He was born in January 2018. And he has a sister, and I think he also has a brother. We have found his sister on Instagram. Her name is Lexi, but we haven't found his brother. And we think that might be why Copper and Skye get along so well, seeing as Copper grew up around his sister. So the first thing you should know about Copper is that he's definitely a Velcro dog, and what I mean by that is that he follows me and my wife everywhere. So wherever we go into the kitchen, wherever we go into the sitting room, or wherever we're in the office, or if we're in the bathroom, Copper is going to be with us. So he likes to be in our company all the time. That's very much a Copper trait. So I wouldn't say he is very independent, which is a Klee Kai streak that I have previously discussed with you guys, and from other Klee Kai owners that I've spoken to, it seems like a lot of females are independent, and possibly males too, but Copper definitely is an independent. He craves human companionship. So one thing you need to know about Copper is that he does suffer from separation anxiety. And that is a chronic canine disorder that can affect any dog, irrespective of breed or mix. And what it usually means is that when we leave the house, or when there's some telltale signs that we're about to leave the house, Copper starts to suffer from a bit of separation anxiety. Now, some of the signs to look out for that your dog could possibly be suffering from separation anxiety include barking, howling, whining, destructive chewing or digging, and even doing their potty inside the home. Copper usually barks or howls, and it's for the first couple of minutes when he's left alone. Then he seems to calm down, and he's pretty good with his sister Skye. But if he is left alone for a long time, so I'm talking over 4 hours, then he will start to bark and howl and whine again. So that's definitely a trait of Copper. He is quite anxious compared to his sister, so he's more of an anxious dog. If you've watched some of our other YouTube videos, you probably have seen that Copper and Skye can be quite noisy at times, but as I've said in previous videos, that was more because I was getting them to be noisy or getting them to bark or be talkative. Usually they're not that noisy, especially Skye, she's pretty quiet. Copper is definitely the more talkative of our two dogs, and he will definitely talk on command. So if I start to talk to Copper and I say certain trigger words, that will get him to talk, or even if I start making barking or howling noises, or if he sees it on the TV or on YouTube, that usually will be a trigger for Copper and he will start to bark or howl. Apart from that, he doesn't really make that much noise. It's only if he sees us coming home, if he's looking out the window, or if he sees a cat that's teasing him outside the window, then he'll get a bit wound up. I would say he is a watchdog in that sense, but otherwise I wouldn't say he's particularly noisy. And in fact, when they play, Copper doesn't really make much noise. It's more Skye that makes the noise. So let's see if I can get Copper to do some talking right now. Hello. Copper, you been a good boy? Have you been a good boy? You want some treaties? Hello. So I'd also say another kind of characteristic of Copper is definitely the head tilt. Skye doesn't really tilt her head at all, but Copper loves to tilt his head. And again, it's certain trigger words that will get him to tilt his head, like, Copper, do you want some treaties? Do you want treaties? Copper, you want some treaties? Copper, you wanna go walkies? Copper, where's mommy? Do you want your din-dins? Are you a good boy? So as much as I said that Copper is a Velcro dog and loves human companionship, he isn't the most He doesn't like to cuddle as much as Skye does. He seems to kind of like his own space. As you can see right now by how much of a wiggle worm he is, He doesn't really like to sit still on our laps, or if we're watching TV, he will usually try and find his own space on the couch, or else he'll be down here in the dog bed below, or behind me by the window on that little ottoman over there. But what he does love are neck scratches, and it's actually something that he does more with my wife than me. In the mornings of the weekend when my wife isn't working, he'll come to her in the bed and he'll expect a good 10-15 minutes of neck scratches just like this, and he will just sit here. He'll happily take the neck scratches. If you stop, he'll push his head into your hand and he'll demand more neck scratches. So that's definitely a Copper trait there. He loves neck scratches, and that's his favorite spot to be tickled, isn't it, Copper? Is that your favorite spot? Is it? Is that your favorite spot? Is it? Another thing that Copper likes to do more than Skye is give kisses. So Skye doesn't really lick our faces or lick our mouths, and obviously there's the whole hygiene thing as well. But Copper loves to give a kiss on the lips or on the cheek, so that's definitely a Copper trait, which is quite funny how he differs from Skye in that regard. When it comes to doing videos and Instagrams, I would say that Copper is by far the easier dog to photograph and video. He is such a big, goofy personality that he just does stuff that naturally is funny. So as long as we've got a camera or our iPhone around, we can just capture it. Like right now, he's chewing a feather. He's just quite a goofy, quirky personality. He definitely still acts like a puppy. He's 2, but he hasn't lost those puppy tendencies yet, and that makes him quite fun to photograph and video. So something that's a source of a lot of debate in our house, and especially when we have guests over and people ask, oh, so who's the mummy's dog and who's daddy's dog? I would say that Copper is a bit of a daddy's boy, especially because at the very start when we got him, I spent a lot of time with him because my wife was at work, and when we got Skye, she wasn't working. But having said all that, I think his favorite person in our house is probably his sister Skye, as you can see right now. They have a really, really special bond, and he's definitely like the annoying little brother. I mean, he's constantly pestering her. He is constantly pushing her buttons. They both kind of know which each of his triggers are, and it kind of works well between them. And they do have the same dad, so they are half brother and half sister. So they've kind of got that brother-sister relationship. Hopefully by this stage you've got a good idea about Copper and Skye. We've covered them both in 2 videos now. Thanks for watching. If you haven't hit subscribe, then please hit subscribe. We really do appreciate all your support and all our fans. We'll be back soon with another YouTube video. And if you've got any comments or questions, then feel free to hit us up on Instagram, TikTok or Facebook. And our username is Life with Klee Kai in all those platforms. But for now, we're going to say goodbye. So that's all from Copper. And Skye's done with her cameo appearance today. And we'll be back soon with another video. Cheers for watching, guys.